Hey, Gran Turismo fans, today I'm going to give you a fantastic strategy that you might want to use when you get Gran Turismo 7. Now, of course, at the time of recording this video, Gran Turismo 7 is not out just as of yet. However, this is a strategy that has worked multiple times in the past and also worked for myself when I played or first started playing Gran Turismo in Gran Turismo 3. Now, of course, Gran Turismo Sport, I did this exact same strategy, and that was to start off in the driving school. Now, there's a reason for this. Number one, it's going to help you get familiar with the game and how it works. Mainly on the racetrack, it's going to help you with learning how the tracks handle, learning how the cars handle, and things like that. Especially if you've either played it in the past or haven't played it at all, it's going to really help you understand how those cars react, because of course every game is different. For example, Project Cars in the past felt like you were driving on ice no matter where you were driving. Now, going from there, what that's also going to help you with is once you get all of those medals, once you've completed the driving school for each level, generally they give you a car. So if you get all bronzes across the board, you get a certain type of car. If you get all silvers, you get a little bit better of a car. If you get bronzes and silvers mixed in, you get some kind of a car. But if you get all gold across, so you can keep on trying over and over and over and over again until you get gold. Don't complete the whole thing. Go one at a time trying to get gold on each one. Because once that happens, you're able to get a really great car at the end. The more gold you have, the better the car you're going to have. And you go through the different levels. So by the time you're finished the driving school, you could have 5 or 6 cars already in your garage that you never paid for. That's just generally how Gran Turismo's worked in the past, and this is something that is probably going to happen in the future. Now, on the GT map that we've seen, in Gran Turismo 7, they're going to have missions as well. And what missions do for you is they're just kind of short little races. They usually take 30 seconds to a minute to complete. And what that's going to do for you is if you can get enough golds in a row again, you're going to get a really good car. Now, depending on how many of these missions that they have, this could get you another 5 or 6 cars. So now you've got 10 to 15 cars in your arsenal that you never had to pay for. And you've probably got a couple $100,000 in the game, which is going to help you now buy a car that you need for the game, or maybe a car that's better than what you've won already through these missions and through the driving school. Or, if those cars are actually some of the better cars in the game, you can use that money that you've already won from going through the driving school and through the missions to actually go and pay for upgrades on those cars. So if they're already some of the better cars in the game, you can go out and say, well, I'm going to upgrade the exhaust. I'm going to upgrade the suspension and the brakes. Brakes are actually very important to upgrade. I'm going to tell you right now, upgrading the brakes is extremely important. But another strategy and tip that I'm going to give you right now is to, depending on how far along and how fast you've gone through the first missions and driving school, is to go online at that point and try to see if there's anyone posting about which car is better in each class. And why I say this is because some cars will be overpowered. That's just how video games work. And if you can find a car that's overpowered, whether it be high horsepower, high torque for the class that it's in, or lower weight, that's going to be very important, because now when you go onto your online races, if you do online races, or in your career mode, campaign mode, that's going to help you win more races because you now know which cars are overpowered. And if you already have those overpowered cars from the driving school and also from the missions, then you're all set. If you don't, then you've already got the cash on hand to get those cars instead of having to go through races and try to get up enough money to get a car. You already have them maybe, or you already have the cash to go and purchase the car that's overpowered. And then you've got a car that's overpowered already, and now you can start stuffing it with upgrades, better exhaust, maybe a turbo, whatever it may be, and you just keep on building it better and better and better. Then the next thing to do is to, of course, win games, and win races, but there is also another strategy. We've seen that there is a used car section. I'm not too sure as of yet if it's going to be used cars that they just throw in there like old 70s or 80s Hondas or whatever, or is this going to be where people can sell their cars that they've already souped up, put a price on it because maybe they've put a cool livery or whatever. We're not too sure how the used car works or section works just as of yet, but in the past, Gran Turismo themselves would stick in different cars all the time. So usually older cars, you'd have to give them a car wash and whatever else, they're high mileage, whatever it could be, but then you just build those up, and you can sometimes get some awesome steals in the used car section. Just like in real life, you can get some crazy steals. For example, my Mustang that I've got in real life, it's a Mustang GT. The dealership was selling it used. It was at the time, a 3-year-old car, and it only had 5,000 kilometers, which in miles is like nothing. And basically, it was at $35,000 Canadian, which to Americans, I'm not too sure, maybe $2, but it was $35,000 Canadian, and basically it was a steal because it already had exhaust, it had an air intake, it had everything. It had Cobra steering wheel, shifter, everything. And it had thousands of dollars worth of stuff into it. And still to this day, when I checked Auto Trader, which I did a couple of weeks ago, cars with the mileage that has on it, Mustangs with mileage that it has, without the upgrades and without it being a performance package, which that one is, it's fully loaded, are still going for $40,000 for that year. And with the upgrades, I could easily get close to $45,000. So, that's what I mean. Used car dealerships, especially in this game, are going to be insane. The types of deals that you're going to be able to get. Now, these are some of my tips for you. I hope that you have enjoyed. If you have, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.